Hi everyone! Welcome back to another gouache painting time lapse. Today I'm painting one of my all-time favorite subjects, the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland. If you've seen some of my other videos, this might look familiar. The cliffs have been a reoccurring theme in my work, and honestly, I think they always will be. Irish landscapes were some of the very first things I painted as a kid, and they continue to inspire my art. This scene is based on a visit I made about a year ago on a pretty rare, sunny summer day. I remember hiking along the cliffs, looking out towards the Aran Islands and passing cows and sheep lounging peacefully in the fields. The wind was wild, but the wildflowers, especially the little yellow ones growing near the edge of the cliffs, were holding on. That detail really stuck with me. For this piece, I used Holbein gouache on watercolor paper. I've recently switched over to Holbein for a lot of my gouache work, and I've been loving it. The colors are rich, and the texture is super satisfying to work with. As usual, I started with a loose sketch in paint. Nothing too detailed, just enough to sort of block in the composition. Then I worked from background to foreground, starting with the soft blues of the sky and clouds, and slowly moving my way into the deeper greens and earth tones of the cliffs and grass. With gouache, I like to build up layers gradually, working from big shapes to smaller details. That helps me adjust the composition and color balance as I go. Once the larger areas were blocked in, I started adding darker values to define the cliffs, contrasting them with the bright white foam where the waves crashed below. You might notice O'Brien's tower in the distance. It's barely more than a tiny gray dot, but I think it adds a nice sense of scale. My favorite part of this piece was painting the yellow wildflowers near the cliff's edge. It's always amazing to me how fragile these little tiny flowers can be, but they can thrive in such a windy, dynamic landscape. Dotting those bright spots of color into the foreground really brought the scene to life and tied everything together, I think. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this time lapse and a little glimpse into my process. If you're curious about how I've approached this scene in other media, I'll link a video of an oil painting I did of the cliffs in the video card. Feel free to check that out. And as always, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any feedback or suggestions for future paintings or videos you'd like me to make, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.